Broken heart. Their love story ended before it began. It began on a rainy Monday morning. Ayan Malik, a 26-year-old photographer from Lahore, was running late for a client shoot. His old Canon camera hung around his neck, dripping from the downpour. As he crossed Mall Road, he noticed a girl standing alone beneath a half-broken umbrella, laughing at her own helplessness as rain soaked her hair. Something about her laugh, unfiltered, genuine, almost defiant, froze him. Without thinking, he lifted his camera and clicked. The click echoed through the storm. The girl turned. For a moment, her eyes, dark brown, bright, alive, met his. She smiled and said, "You should have asked permission before stealing someone's soul." He laughed nervously. "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to." "Relax," she interrupted. "I'm kidding. But if I look bad in that photo, you owe me coffee." That was how Ayan met Meher. The beginning of something different. In the following days, they kept bumping into each other, at the coffee shop, at Liberty Market, even once near the canal where Ayan liked to take pictures of stray cats. It almost felt planned. They started talking. She was unpredictable, one day loud and lively, the next quiet and thoughtful. He found her fascinating, like a song with verses that never repeat. When she laughed, everything around her seemed brighter. But sometimes, when she went silent, her eyes carried something, an ache she never explained. One evening, sitting by the riverside, he finally asked, "What are you running from, Meher?" She looked away, smiled faintly, and said, "Some questions don't need answers, Ayan. They just need time." He didn't push. Maybe because he already knew what it was like to live with ghosts, not the kind that haunt houses, but the kind that live inside you. Unspoken connection. As weeks passed, they grew closer. They'd walk through the city at night, chasing lights and silence. Ayan would photograph her when she wasn't looking, the way she stared at raindrops, the way her hair caught sunlight, the way she bit her lip when she was thinking. He didn't realize when admiration became attachment. And attachment became something deeper. He'd wake up thinking of her and fall asleep wondering what she was dreaming about. But Meher was never completely there. Some days she vanished for hours, no calls, no replies. When she returned, she'd say softly, "I was somewhere I can't explain." He wanted to believe her. And he did. The photograph. One night, while editing his photos, Ayan found a strange image in his camera, a photo he didn't remember taking. It was Meher. Standing by an old bridge, staring directly into the lens. Timestamp, 2:17 a.m. Location, that bridge on the edge of town, where he'd never taken her. When he called her, the line went dead. The next day, she didn't show up. Not at her hostel. Not at the cafe. Not anywhere. After hours of searching, he found an envelope slipped under his apartment door. Inside, a single note written in her handwriting. "Thank you for making me feel alive again." And below it, a printed version of that same bridge photo. The search. He went everywhere, her hostel warden, her classmates, even the registrar's office. But every time he mentioned her name, people looked confused. "Sorry, who are you talking about? Meher? Which class?" No one knew her. No records. No ID. No hostel room under that name. Ayan thought it was some cruel joke. Until he went to the coffee shop where they first met. The waiter said, "Sir, you always sit alone. But you leave an extra cup of coffee every time, is it for someone?" A chill ran down his spine. Breaking point. Days turned into weeks. Ayan stopped going out, stopped eating, stopped working. He'd sit by the window and watch the rain, whispering her name like it might bring her back. Then one night, his phone buzzed. An unknown number. "Stop looking for her, Ayan." He typed furiously, "Who is this? Where's Meher?" No reply. He traced the number. It was unregistered. Later that night, the doorbell rang. No one was there, just a wet footprint leading toward his room. On his desk, his camera blinked, a new photo had been taken. He opened it. It was Meher, standing behind him, smiling. The voice. Ayan stopped sleeping. Every night, he'd hear her voice whisper, "Don't search for what's not meant to be found." He started seeing her reflection, in mirrors, puddles, even glass frames, but when he turned around, no one was there. Was he losing his mind? Or was she trying to tell him something? He visited a psychiatrist, told her everything. The doctor leaned forward and said, "Mr. Malik, you lost your fiancé, Meher, 3 years ago in a car accident." Ayan blinked. "That's not true. I just met her 2 months ago." The doctor sighed. "That's what you said after the accident too." He left the clinic trembling. None of it made sense. Had he imagined her? No, she was real. He had photos, memories, laughter, texts. He opened his phone gallery, but every photo of Meher was blank. Just empty backgrounds. The only one that remained was the photo at the bridge. The bridge again. Ayan returned to that bridge, rain pouring just like the first day. He stood there, camera in hand, whispering, "Meher, if you're real, show me." Lightning flashed, and for 1 second, he saw her. Dressed in white, standing across the railing, smiling faintly. "You promised to remember me laughing," she said softly. And then she stepped back, into the fog, and vanished. The next morning, passers-by found Ayan unconscious near the bridge, camera clutched in his hand. Inside was one last photo, Meher standing on the bridge, looking directly into the lens. Timestamp, 2:17 a.m. Broken Heart. Their love story ended before it began, Part 2. Rain hammered the roof when Ayan opened his eyes. He was lying in a hospital bed, hooked to 4 drips, the white light above flickering like a dying star. A police officer stood beside his bed, flipping through a small notepad. "You were found unconscious near the old bridge," the officer said. "There was no one else there. Any idea what happened?" Ayan's voice was hoarse. "I saw her." The officer frowned. "Who?" "Meher," he whispered. "She was there, she spoke to me." The officer hesitated. "Mr. Malik, no one else was at that bridge. We checked the footage. You were alone." Ayan turned his face away, staring at the rain hitting the glass window. He didn't argue. He knew what he had seen. But deep inside, something cracked. The return to emptiness. When he was discharged, he went back to his apartment. The air felt heavier, as if every wall carried her absence. Her laughter that once filled the silence was gone. On his desk, the camera still blinked. He turned it on, only one file was left. A video, not a photo. He pressed play. It showed Meher, sitting by the bridge, wind in her hair. She smiled softly at the lens. "If you're watching this," she said, "then I guess it's time to remember what you've been trying to forget." The screen flickered, static lines cutting across her face. Then the video ended abruptly. He rewound, watched again. This time, he noticed something in the background, a car accident. A silver car flipped over the railing, falling into the water. His breath caught. He zoomed in, the license plate. His car. The hidden files. Heart racing, Ayan opened his laptop and accessed the camera's storage directly. There, hidden under a folder named Untitled Memories, were dozens of pictures he didn't remember taking, old photos of him and Meher together, but something felt off. In every picture, his face looked younger. His hairstyle different. Like they were taken years ago. He scrolled deeper until one image froze him completely. It was their wedding photo. He was standing in a black sherwani. Meher beside him, dressed in red, smiling. Under the image file, a date, October 17, 2020. But it was October 17, 2023 now. He couldn't breathe. Fragments of the past. He ran to his old boxes, searching through dusty albums and old drives. Buried deep inside, he found an old newspaper clipping. Young couple dies in car crash near Model Town Bridge. Husband identified as Ayan Malik. Wife's body recovered after 3 days, identified as Meher Ayan. His mind went blank. The headline blurred. He read it again and again, but the words refused to change. He had died. He looked at his reflection in the window, pale, shaking, alive, but was he? Was any of this real? He pinched his arm hard. He felt pain. He screamed. The echo in the apartment sounded hollow, like a voice trapped between two worlds. Then his phone buzzed again. Unknown number. You were never supposed to remember, Ayan. The revelation. He followed the only clue he had, the bridge. That night, he went back there, camera in hand, rain falling like memory. Lightning flashed. And she was there again, Meher, standing near the edge, her white dress clinging to her like mist. He whispered. Why are you doing this to me? She smiled sadly. Because you wouldn't let go. He stepped closer. You're real. You were my life. She nodded. I was. Once. Then what happened to us? He asked, voice breaking. Her eyes glistened. We were in that car, Ayan. You were driving. It was raining, just like this. You tried to save me, but you didn't survive. He froze. No, that can't be true. I'm here. She stepped closer, her hand reaching for his face, her touch cold as fog. You're not here, Ayan. You've been stuck, reliving the memories of what we were. You built this world, this city, this life, to hold on to me. Tears mixed with the rain on his cheeks. Then why do I see you? She smiled faintly. Because you loved me too much to let me go. But love can't exist in two worlds. Lightning cracked again. For a brief second, he saw her eyes, full of warmth, pain, and finality. You have to wake up now, she whispered. It's time to end what never truly began. The final goodbye. The world around him started dissolving, the bridge, the rain, the city lights. Everything blurred into white mist. He tried to reach her, screaming her name. Meher. She smiled through tears. Thank you, for loving me even after death. And then she was gone. He woke up again, but not in his apartment. He was in a hospital room, machines beeping around him. A doctor leaned over. He's awake, she said softly. Ayan blinked, weak and confused. Where's Meher? The doctor hesitated. Mr. Malik, you've been in a coma for 3 years. There was an accident. Your wife, she didn't make it. The living memory. Weeks later, when Ayan was discharged, he visited the graveyard. Rain began again, quiet, endless. He placed a single white rose on Meher's grave. You were right, he whispered. Some stories sound better incomplete. He left the cemetery and walked toward the bridge, the same one where they first met, or thought they did. As he stood there, camera in hand, he took one last picture, the empty railing, the river flowing beneath, the city fading in the distance. When he checked the screen, his breath caught. In the photo, behind him, Meher was standing. Smiling, just like that first day. Timestamp, 2:17 a.m. Epilogue, 3 months later. Ayan published a photo book titled Before It Began. Every page held pictures of places they'd shared, cafes, streets, the old bridge, all empty, all drenched in rain. Critics called it a haunting portrayal of love and loss. No one knew the truth behind those images. Sometimes, at night, he'd hear her voice in the rain. Remember me laughing? And he would smile, whispering back. Always. Because some love stories don't start or end. They simply exist in the space between memory and reality.